Welcome. Good afternoon. My name is Dennis Kozak, and I've done a unit on Texas. As you can see, here's my display board with some of my books, and we'll talk a little bit about the display board. First, we'll talk about our graphic organizer. It starts off with grade 7 for Texas, and that's what's in our center. And then we go out to Texas historical markers and sites. Pertaining to the Alamo, San Jacinto Monument, and the battleship Texas. And then we talk about past presidents of Texas using language arts, learning about Sam Houston, Maribel Lamar. And then we go on to Texas regional foods, kind of health and culinary arts there, looking at some different foods across Texas, El Paso, Texarkana, and Houston. We also look at Texas symbols in our arts area, looking at our flag, different symbols, bluebonnet, and then we also look at Texas resources dealing with science and math and oil and gas. So let's talk a little bit about what we have on our board here so far. As you can see, a lot of the symbols here in Texas are Texas star, our flag, the Alamo. Up here we have the Texas Our Texas song, a picture of some bluebonnets, the Texas state symbol, the San Jacinto Monument, and then our flag and our state, our Lone Star State, and our Texas Quarter. And then part of the presentation as well talks about our Learning Center activities, and then the books across the bottom for some selection. So I did this unit using 5 different subject areas in the 7th grade, citing all TEKS as well. And of course, the written presentation will be attached to the unit as well. First, looking at his social studies, which was our main theme here, we are going to talk about historical markers and sites, which we talked a little bit about what was on the board, the battleship Texas, the Alamo, San Jacinto area where they did the battle, which is a monument right now, our flag, our flower, our coin, and some of the symbols. And we have some great books here in front of us. One book here, The Alamo. It's kind of a younger reader, talks about the Alamo and what happened during the Alamo. Another great book, which I thought was really cool, is this Texas Facts and Symbols. And it goes through the book talking about the different state capitals and our bird, our tree, our flag, and it talks about, again, the facts and the symbols of Texas, and that was for a younger reader as well. We have a couple other good books on grade level 7, The Texas Fight for Independence, From the Alamo to San Jacinto. And then one of my favorite books, The Historical Battleship Texas. This battleship was created prior to World War I in 1911. It serviced in 1912. I had the opportunity to do a sleepover a couple years ago on the battleship Texas and learn about the history there, which was very, very fascinating. And then we tie in 7 different TEKS in our lesson according to social studies. Our Learning Center activities for history, we can develop and construct a scrapbook of pictures of information about the battleship from beginning to end. We can use a T-chart to document the findings between the different 2 battles from the Alamo to San Jacinto. We can create a PowerPoint presentation, a brief outline of the historical events of these as well. So that's a little bit about some of the activities that we would do in history in our learning centers as small groups. Then we move on to language arts and reading, and I took and attached one TEK from that and a couple books. We have A Lantern in Her Hand. It's about an 1850 setting about a pioneer, a woman pioneer coming across the plains of Nebraska, traveling in the area and settling. So I thought that was a really good book. Remember the little bighorn up here about the Indian soldiers and the scouts during that war. So that's a little bit about what language arts, some of the learning centers and activities that we can use. We can write some of this information in our journals and compose a campaign speech that would be presented to the class as if you were running for governor. Design a flowchart from each president of Texas with their names and the dates they served during the constitution of the state. We can also identify positive and negatives using the T-chart for the presidents of Texas. So there's some great activities we can do, again, for the language arts area. Then we move on to exploring careers in health education in the 7th grade. I attached one TEK for that. And again, we can look at some great cuisines, of multi-feast cuisines in Texas. Talks about the different foods we have here across Texas and regional areas, and recipes that you can use for that. So there's some really good ideas in that. For some of the activities for this, we can use tell and describe your favorite cuisine of Texas and tell the class why it is your favorite. In your group, arrange a party, identify and advertise your menu to the class using Texas regional foods. And of course, there'll be other cookbooks and other food books related to that in their learning center. And again, they can also use myself as a resource. Having a culinary degree and a background, I can certainly help in this. The next area, we looked at a science area, and we did a science TEK. And also, the last area I tied in was art with 2 art TEKs. And in the arts, we could create and design a new flag for the state of Texas, which I thought was really good, and proposed the idea to the class. And then also illustrate and construct a scrapbook finding 10 symbols throughout Texas. So we listed some of the symbols here up on the board already as examples, and then the kids can tie in the tree, the bird, and some of the other ones. And then science, we talked a little bit about, discuss to the class if you think it's a good idea to drill for natural resources in the Gulf, and describe and write a factual chart on natural resources found in Texas and their location throughout Texas. So this is kind of an overview of what I did, starting with Texas, breaking it up using social studies, going into the symbols, and then trying to tie in some of the other subject areas, which I thought was important as well, especially the language arts, so we can cross curriculum the activities and stuff. So the board also has attached my entire presentation as well, my graphic organizer, some of the activities, and these are just some of the books. And I also listed some other books in my presentation as well. And I certainly really enjoyed doing this presentation. I happen to be just signed up to do my student teaching in 7th grade for Texas history. So hopefully I can tie in a lot of this into my lessons and talk to my students in the spring about that. So I really learned a great deal from this class, and I certainly want to say thank you. Appreciate it.